Hey there, my name's Alan Thomas, and tonight is night number 7 of the 10 myths overweight men believe about weight loss. And this one, I'm going to unpack a couple of different ways. It's that I hear it a lot. Probably the most common thing that I hear on applications of men that are applying for my program called Rethink Dieting for Men is they have trouble sticking to something. So they have trouble commitments. But before I do that, I always tell people, everybody that's listening, kind of my story, just so you know where I come from. But again, my name's Alan Thomas. In 2017, I stepped on the scale and saw 304 pounds. I was morbidly obese, 5'11", 55 years old. And when I saw that 304-pound reading, it was like, oh my God, I realized that I was probably going to be dead in less than 10 years. I had been in the life insurance business where I dealt with senior citizens for many years, and sat with literally hundreds and hundreds, probably in the thousands of men that were, over 60 and 65. And I had never met one that was more than 100 pounds overweight. Now, I'm sure they're out there somewhere, but I hadn't, they're very few. They're a rare breed. And part of the reason is that obesity typically will take a man out at a younger age. And I knew that my wife, who I'd been married to for 31 years at that point, would likely be calling me her first husband, because I would be gone and I'd be the picture on the wall, and instead of here with them, very likely somebody else would be coming in, enjoying, my family, my 4 kids, hopefully one day grandkids. And it just really hit me. It impacted me. If I had seen, 299 on the scale, it wouldn't have changed things. But 304 got my attention. And literally, while I was standing there, I also realized that all the things I'd wanted, because, for those of you watching this that are younger, when you're 55, you're still going to have hopes and dreams. I hope you do. When you're 65, 70, you will. And I realized that there were lots of things that I wanted to do. There was a lot of purpose still left in me, and I had to make a change. And I literally stand on that scale. If you look at my website, you see that 304-pound reading. That is not a made-up scale. That is the scale that morning on March 2nd, 2017. But I committed publicly to losing 129 pounds in 365 days. I hit it in 265 days, and hit it in 260 days. And I don't ever say that to impress you, because I never should have been obese to start with. But I say it to impress upon you that, this journey, while I'm not a doctor, I'm not a dietitian, nutritionist, physical fitness expert, it was a journey, and it was one where I learned a lot, and that's what's given me the insight to help men that are obese. And so I get a lot of questions from people, what does it take to lose weight? What does it take to do this? And it's really rethinking the process. That's the reason I call my program Rethink Dieting for Men. Because, let's face it, if you live in a first world country like we do, and where the diet industry is a $72 billion industry in the United States alone, it's probably higher than that since the last recording of that. It's pretty unlikely that it's the diets that are stopping people from losing weight. So it had to be something else. And, the men that I talk to every week I'm on the phone with different men that are, that I'm interviewing them for my program to see if they qualify. And one of the most common things that I run into is they can't stick to something. And so I would challenge you on this, that's a commitment is what it is. So what we're really saying, and I used to say this too, I mean, while I was, morbidly obese, wearing 46 size pants that had stretchy waistbands that really made about a 47, 48, maybe even a 49. And, I was, ashamed of how I looked, even though I made jokes about it. I was, anytime I saw a picture of myself, it just made me sick to my stomach, because I was so obese and couldn't get control of it. But really what it was is I was more committed to my current size and to the food I wanted to eat than I was committed to live in a different life, live in a healthy life. I mean, in so many people think it's, is your health important? Sure it is. Gosh, if you don't have your health, you have nothing. But if you don't have your health, you also, when you're obese, there's so much shame and embarrassment around it. There is, especially for men. And not to say there's not for ladies too, but men, typically get overlooked on this one. And it really holds us back. That was my challenge, is that my weight was holding me back from a lot of things that had nothing to do with physical health. It had more to do with what was going on between my ears. And so when I talk to men who say they can't stick to it, it really is a question of, are you able to stick to a commitment? And if you're 304 pounds like I was, or more, whatever size you are and obese, you're more committed to that size than you're committed to not being that size, if that makes sense. That's one way to look at it. The other way to look at this is, you say you can't stick to something, but have you ever had a lab test at a doctor, where you're going to have blood work done, fasting blood work or something like that? And have men tell me, well, I got to eat at night. I just get ravenous at night. But on the night before blood test or surgery, those men are perfect because it's important to them at that point. And I was the same way. I mean, I could do a fasting blood test, no problem. But if I didn't have something that was really urgent and important, I was much more committed to eating that bowl of ice cream or whatever was in the house that I could grab. And so when I hear men saying that, I'm always listening for those things. And I know how that is. I mean, that's one of the things we work on, is how to be more committed to, your ideal weight and to the man that you're capable of being. And so when we say we can't commit to things, well, if you have a job, are you able to commit to going to that job every day? Are you able to commit to your family that you're going to be faithful to them? Are you able to commit and stick those? And I would imagine that those things are important enough to you that you do commit to them and hold up those commitments. So you've got stick-to-itiveness that you're able to do. So really, it's just the urgency and importance of your weight. And so what I would ask you this is, number one, consider, when is it going to be important enough to you? When is it going to be urgent enough to you that you do something about it? I see guys every day that are doing this, and that are able to get hold of their cravings, to get hold of their the time that they eat of each day. And it's not complicated. It's actually very simple, but it's not easy. But things that are worthwhile very seldom are. So I would challenge you to this. Number one, believe that it's possible. If I can do it, anybody can do it. I see men every day that are able to do this, and people go at different paces too. There's no cookie cutter approach to it. It's one thing that I've learned in process is, you meet a man where he is in the process, but also challenge yourself to this. Challenge yourself to stepping into the best version of yourself that you're capable of being. And it is so important, because I know what that shame of obesity feels like, but I also know what it feels like to overcome it. And there's so much momentum and power that you get when you make the decision. And then when you make a decision, it means to cut off all other possibilities, and you step into that role. And man, it doesn't just affect your weight and your health and your pant size. It affects everything. So guys, the myth that you can't stick to it, you can. You're sticking to things right now, and you're committed to one way, either having great health and being your ideal weight, or you're committed to not doing it. So it's your commitment level. It was my commitment level, and I'm speaking as how I felt in that process, and the example that I'm seeing other men that's taking place. So guys, tomorrow, night number 7, day number 7. Excuse me, 8. Today was day number 7. So day number 8, myth number 8. I'll surprise you with it tomorrow. It's going to be a good one. And guys, you guys keep pressing forward. If you're stuck at your current weight and you don't really know what to do and you need some help, reach out to me. Go to transformmyfuture.com/apply and book a free breakthrough session. And also, you can join the group that I have for overweight men. at Rethink Dieting, rethinkdietingformen.com, and join me, go watch my masterclass at rethinkdieting.com. So guys, have a great evening and keep on pressing forward. Take care.